for January 23rd, 2020. And the first on the agenda is an A&R plan to meet with Outback Engineering regarding a submittal for Hickory Lane. We have several emails. No, we don't have emails.
Yeah,
Do we?
he wants to continue to another night. He emailed Kathy today.
Will you accept the motion to continue?
Yes. Would
Make a
you?
motion to continue the A&R hearing for Outback Engineering at Hickory Lane till our next scheduled meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Second on the agenda is site plan review to meet with, is Madigan? No?
No, I think it's
Nope.
us.
Yeah,
Kenneth
yeah, I
Welch,
didn't
yeah.
Who?
know at the time that I did that, so.
Kenneth
I'll do
Welch.
it if you want.
No, who's your engineer? No?
John?
John. Yeah, John, you wanna come up?
I don't know what I'm coming up for.
Oh, okay.
I think they know the presentation, but I'm the engineer.
So you just did the design, the layout, right?
Yeah.
Okay, would one of you gentlemen like to come up and present your presentation?
Good evening.
Good evening.
By way of introduction, I'm Rich Rozier. This is Zach Cooper. I'm a
Production officer for Nancy Associates.
Okay.
and I'm the co-founder and chief financial officer.
Okay.
We are petitioning to have our site plan approved by the board, if so deemed by you all. And we are planning to operate within 310 Kenneth Welch Drive, that facility. Cold Storage Solutions owns it, a cultivation facility. So a marijuana cultivation facility and product manufacturing. And these plans have been updated per your request to incorporate the addition of the dispensary that I believe has recently been added.
That is in no relation to us.
And it's no, yeah. So, yeah.
Okay.
I guess I was prepared to just answer any questions, or you were prepared to answer any questions you have. We don't have a formal presentation. Hopefully that wasn't
Sure.
our miss.
Can I ask some questions?
Sure.
Okay, so it looks like you guys had a visit from the Conservation Commission. Were you out there when they came out to take a look?
I work for Cold Storage Solutions.
Yes.
The property, the building owner of the property. I was informed by, Bill, what can't I think of who the heck? Who's doing my septic?
Bill Logan?
Bill Logan, I'm terribly sorry. About, yes, the conservation coming by, about a few hay bale issues he had regarding the catch basins in his doing a septic. And we had a pile of sand, I guess near some wetlands that he informed us about, that we actually use inside the freezer for when cranberries slip the forklifts.
Oh,
It's strictly sand, it wasn't
Yeah.
salt or anything like that. It brought
Okay.
to our- and it was actually there for 2 years, that we keep it covered.
He thought it was
Okay.
salt.
That's what we thought.
We keep it covered so it don't freeze, get
Okay.
rainwater in it. But we used it for actually all the buildings up the street. So I was informed that, hey, get the pile out of there, which we did. We're gonna place it on a blacktop containment up the road for the other building, we'll move it around. And we actually added hay bales to make sure nothing else
Okay.
went towards that area.
Okay.
But that's strictly our belongings, Cold Storage. That's our mistake,
Okay.
for that. Strictly, clean sand, no salt, just like I
Right.
said, it's not outdoor use, it was actually for indoor use.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I do have a question though about the fire chief asked us to make sure that the fire lanes weren't blocked.
Yep.
there's a fire lane that goes along the back of the building. It says existing gravel fire access lane. And I think this might be a use of the old plan, because it shows these 5 spaces lined up along this this line here, which is the,
Okay, there's 5 spaces for C-trade.
what?
5 spaces for C-trade, these 5 here.
Yeah, I was looking at I was trying to find a north, south, east, west on the plan. Oh, okay. So it's on the north, west side of the property.
Yeah.
And there's 5 spaces there, and it's for C-trade. And there's supposed to be an access there so the fire department can come through here, go along the back of the building and come out.
Okay.
It's been forever. It's been since
Since day
Glenn
one.
Thompson.
This right
These are
here.
the 5 spaces.
Since
Oh,
Glenn-
those 5 spaces.
Since Glenn Thompson owned the building, that was the fire access around the back of the building.
Okay, yes, no, we have knowledge about that. Yeah, I don't know how,
It would be ugly if a fire engine came out there and had to drive over one of your vehicles. Get
no,
down
I
that
agreed. Actually, there's more of as they park there's more of a walkway, like in other words, where the railing and walkway end, they actually don't park. A fire truck could go by there 24/7.
Right.
You know, if you saw what was the stairs and the walkway from C-Trade, actually like end right at the fire lane coming from out back, and they actually don't park there that close to the stairway. So I mean, other than the drawing showing it,
Right.
it's not true type of thing.
That's fine. But cold storage,
Yeah.
when they came in and first petitioned us to do something, we said, you gotta provide space. When Nature's Remedy came in and they said they wanted to use the space, we said, you gotta provide the access.
Every
And then-
time the plan comes back to us, it shows these 5 spaces.
Okay.
That's what I was
And
alluding to.
then they make the amendment, and now the plan comes back again, and they show the
And they
5
still have
spaces.
the 5
Yeah.
spaces.
We've seen it
We
without.
just need to make sure that the plan, and everybody's on the same page, that a fire truck can get around the building, if that's what that access road is
Okay.
for. We just don't want to block with cars, so we certainly
More
don't want.
more distinctly shown and
No parking.
no parking, correct, agreed.
That's what we told cold
Fire lane.
storage.
How
That's
about
what we
a sign that
told,
says fire lane.
Yeah,
that's what we told no parking fire lane.
well,
Cold storage, Nature's Remedy, Monroe. I don't think we've ever seen C-Trade.
I don't know.
No, he doesn't like to get permits.
Huh? He doesn't have to come in here to us.
He doesn't like
well,
to get
the
permits.
the other thing is the salt could, or what they thought was the salt could have been back there blocking the road too.
Right.
You know,
But see, the whole thing is, that's what we need to provide for the fire department to get around the building. If there's a fire back here and he can't get around the building, you know, it's not us, it's gonna be, you know, losing something.
I understand.
Okay.
We will see to it that disappears and there's plenty of access there.
Yeah, thank you.
So, for you gentlemen, we'll want your plan amended
Okay.
to show that, so we'll accept, you know, if everything else goes fine, we'll want an amended plan to show fire lane access somehow in that spot, not 5 spaces.
Okay. Thanks.
one of their concerns with the fire department was the, not just the maintenance and making sure that that area remained clear, but also, you know, that there was going to be increased demand for parking. And we don't want to have any issues with parking. And we certainly don't want to have any issues with the fire department having issues with parking. Would you consider putting up no parking signs in certain locations if that were necessary, or should we wait and see if it turns into an issue? They just want to make it clear that they want no encroachments on any current fire lanes and access, so we just need to make sure
Yeah.
that
Well, that's,
it's taking it out, but I'm just letting you know, if this is crowded, because I'm a shopping mom, I mean, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna park where I need to park to get into the store, so if there's people that need a spot, they might come over here and park if it's vacant, but if there's a no parking sign, or there's some fire lane or something.
it's, yeah, we want them to say no parking fire lane.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems reasonable.
Right?
No problem
Fair
for
enough.
us.
Okay, cool.
Other than that, I have no issue.
I have no issue.
Sure.
Yes, Untitled Conservation. I have a couple of concerns I wanted to clarify.
Yes.
First of all, in the previous plan that you submitted to us for review, I had asked that they indicate on the plan where snow removal stockpiles would be made, and make sure that they weren't adjacent to or inside the buffer zone.
That was for the conservation.
Yes.
You're the property owner, correct?
Yes.
Where are you currently having storage for your snow removal?
Most convenient spot. Other than we're not, certainly abide to wherever we may have to keep it away from conservation or wetlands if there's,
Yeah.
I mean, I know we don't salt the driveway.
Yeah.
So that much I do know. We don't sand or salt the driveway as far as that goes, so it's strictly just a snow pile. And yeah, I'm sorry, other than if it's near conservation, we pile it wherever it's most convenient to pile the snow and you're plowing.
Right.
I haven't taken a recognition to it, let's say, on where to pile it. But happy to do so, though, you know.
It may be more meaningful when you have a bunch of automobiles coming in and out, and the runoff is different, right? And then it's obviously.
I know there's like catch basins on the blacktop itself, so if we're not protruding above the blacktop, it'll drain to the catch basins that we have on the parking lot, you know what I'm saying? Any on blacktop surface dips to the way it pitches to the catch basins, let's say.
So, Mr. Bouchard, you would like that to be designated on the plan?
On the plan, yes, so that it's not located, like I said, inside the 100-foot buffer zone. And the problem with the catch basins is, even though you're not using salt, there's going to be oil and grease associated with that material. And if it's getting into the storm drain, it's getting into the wetland. So there has to be some way of preventing that. I appreciate the hay bales around it. That's one of the conditions that I worked out with your engineer, Jamie Bissonette. We went through the list, and that was one. Some of the other issues were the stockpile of material, excavated material, I only presume, along the front of the building, along the roadside. Same condition there. You said you would put hay bales, so that should take care of that. The phantom salt pile, I had no idea whether it was salt or not. That's why I put a question in.
Yeah, no, understandable. You know, I mean, anyone would see it would understand. You know, it's reasoning.
So if you can just move it someplace.
It's already been relocated. So
Okay. Jamie said that you
taken
take care of it, so I appreciate that as well. And the last issue was the excavation right in that parking lot. It was uncovered, and it's kind of borderline whether it's within the 100-foot buffer zone or not. But it is, the wetland is downgrading of it. And if we get a precipitation event, it's just going to flush all that.
We at least, I don't know if we today we at least moved some hay bales where that old sand pile was and boarded that. I think the area you're talking about. Okay. Downstream of the parking lot.
All right. Then that's fine. That's what I was looking for. And finally, if there's going to be any more work of this nature in the future, I think you should consult with us in the event that we think an RDA or maybe an NOI would be necessary for the scope of the work. But otherwise, I'm satisfied with the work that's been done.
Are you gentlemen from town? You're from out of town?
Well, yeah, no.
So you may not know, our community provides water to other surrounding communities. It's our biggest asset. So we take water protection very seriously. That's why this conversation's happening.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Sinks.
Can I,
Gentlemen, yes,
I
go
want to
ahead.
ask one? The, it says Zenith was doing the septic plan?
Yeah, he designed it.
What's being done? We don't have that drawing. Usually it's like,
A site plan, I have copies in my vehicle right now of the septic plan. The leach septic plan that's what Zenith.
Is this going to be for,
Is he doing work
We've
there
never had it
with a
before.
septic plan?
We have a new septic design, that's the work that's being done now.
Yeah, that's what he's in front.
I do have copies of that plan.
so whatever's underground is usually on the site plan drawing that we get?
Okay, the septic plans are, or?
Whatever's underground, if you bury tanks there, if you put a parking structure, anything underground
Would a
is
second
certainly part of
plan
the site
be
plan.
adequate for that?
Pardon?
Not being on the same plan? Like I have a whole design of that front plan.
John,
I have a copy of that whole design in the front yard.
yeah,
That septic.
what do you think? What are they doing?
Does it have to be on the same plan is what I'm asking?
So do we need it on the plan?
Is it all the same, like 2 copies?
I don't think so, but without seeing it,
Okay.
how would I know?
Can I run right out and grab it right now?
You see what, well, yeah, if you would.
Oh, yeah, no, I do have those.
Are you redoing, John, are you redoing the whole system for the whole
I'm
building?
not doing it. The other part of the company is seeing it. I'm in the surveying end,
Ah, okay,
so he's getting the plan now.
okay.
Well, if the plan has to be revised to take out those parking spaces, then that could be added at that time.
Yeah.
No, I think it's gonna be a system they can drive on because the work is, they've entirely dug up this entire entrance.
Okay,
So there's no pavement, there's no entrance right now.
uh-huh.
They're actually cutting through the circle to go behind because the excavation is
For the septic? I thought the septic is right
right
here.
up by the roadway,
In
pretty
front.
big.
That's not
Right
what it
now, I
is.
see something that looks like it's less than 20 by 20 feet
Yeah.
for a septic, and that's too small for a single family. Which one is 2? So, there's 2 of them.
Go look.
I only see, yeah.
There's one in the front of the
Keep
building.
looking, there's one in the front.
Okay.
You guys recycle a
Got
lot of
it.
your water, don't you?
Yeah.
I think I remember that from
And
somebody
I
else.
believe the leach field is under that 6
Okay,
spaces
that's
by
why
the paved.
Mark sees that. Misplaced.
What's that?
Site plan review.
He's saying that this is the leach field's gonna go over here.
Yep.
And that's why what Mark's talking about, and that's been misplaced already. I thought he was talking about this.
Do you have extras, Guy, for these guys?
Yes, I take,
Yeah, all our water is recycled and then filtered, put back in our system.
So you're not
And
drinking
the
a ton?
wastewater goes into a tight tank and is hauled off by a truck. Nothing goes down the drain.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
you have nothing to do with it?
No,
No ones?
that was in January.
But it's a, upset.
Whose phone's ringing?
Hold on.
It's mine.
No.
Turned off.
Is it yours? Okay.
I'm just buzzing.
Over here is right in the driveway.
Really?
It's getting, it's better than 11 o'clock. Like, panel C, and then we have it.
Yeah.
Then it's snow.
Yeah, you better watch that.
I know. And the parking is in question over here.
So it's fair to say you're doing a new system for the entire building, for all 4 tenants.
The,
Would that be a fair description?
there's actually a system in the rear corner that's existing and staying, and one in the front corner that's existing and staying. But we are incorporating a third septic system that's in the middle of the building into this whole new design. Board of Health, I believe in some regulation, there's maximum of 3 for the property, so we had to incorporate that one into the new system design.
And the cars can drive right over that leaching field.
All heavy pipe underneath and the
That's
whole, yeah.
interesting.
you've got
Okay, yeah.
All approved and.
Because the loading dock's back here, right? But they're probably
Yeah,
not
right
gonna
on
have
this side of,
trucks.
you know, it's like a common entrance.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, loading dock, and there's only 2 loading docks out back now that's getting it, you know, the
Beach.
minimal traffic there, but, yep, they pull right in for the other building, 308.
Wow.
Just, you know, basically, in our particular business in Harvest, there's quite a few a day in Harvest, and then you don't see a truck all day for the whole rest of the year, you know?
Right.
This was the little subject that we have to complete with this pumping field. They're gonna bring the Legion field, we'll see.
So you have a kitchen in your place?
No.
No, you have a grease trap.
Grease trap?
Is that coming from cold storage?
Oh, it'd probably be from,
Mandated by the Board of Health.
I assume that Nature's Remedy, I think, has a kitchen. I'm not sure if they have a kitchen on site there, though. I've never been inside that facility.
Nature's Remedy does have a small kitchen that incorporate, when they opened it, it was allowed that they have a grease trap on the sink in.
They're over here?
In the middle of the building, that middle one you see.
Grease traps over here?
He made, Nature's Remedy does have a small kitchen. And Kevin wanted them to have an external grease trap. So part of this operation was to add the trap for them, which is being done. And then he wanted to put a grease trap, if the Northeast ever wanted to do a kitchen,
We don't.
Okay.
he wanted the grease trap to be there. So at the other end of the building, that's why that one's there.
Wow. Okay.
Even though it's not gonna, you know, right now, no intention on using it at all.
0.
The middle one is, yes, going to supply the kitchen that Nature's Remedy has. It's a small kitchen they have.
They had an indoor,
They can do a grease trap.
Yeah, I saw that.
That he let them, you know, for now, and now that, since we did this whole septic, he wanted to have the outdoor one also.
What's the indoor grease trap like this big?
about 4 feet, as I remember it, just.
To handle the capacity of the 3 volts.
One of those
This is a
Nalgene,
1,000 gallon.
yeah, one of those Nalgene things that.
All right.
So my question is, the Board of Health has approved the septic plan,
Yeah.
okay? They have a permit. So is it customary to see the septic design characteristics or important points like the distribution box and so forth on the plan? And if so, do we want that added before we see the next plan so we can get those 5 spaces out and have that added, or is it not necessary? Since we have an approved plan.
Well,
And I'm going to tell you guys why it matters. So in my house, we had a septic system put in, D-box and all that. It wasn't on the house plans that I saved from the architect, but it was in some part of the site plan. And now those plans are gone. And so when you want to put in a swimming pool, I'm going to have to spend a whole bunch of money to figure out where it is. Right, so it would have been nice if it was all on one plan, because then anybody touching it knows from then on what's happening. So that's why that conversation.
I don't see any problem with having someone overlay it. It just might be kind of cluttered.
No, they don't, I wouldn't think they need all
you
of it.
add a second plan,
Okay.
a second sheet.
Gotcha.
Jamie did this one? Jamie did this one, right? This and that?
Sure. Recycling.
This one?
Yeah.
That's from John.
Yeah.
John did that.
Zenith did
Okay.
the other one.
Okay,
Zenith did the septic system
okay,
design.
okay.
Design and plan.
Is it necessary? Yeah.
Could you, I think whoever did this plan can reference this plan.
Do you want a reference on this plan?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I mean, because there's so
Have the
much,
first site plan reference.
yeah.
Instead of having to draw it in?
If you start, there's too much stuff.
Okay, good idea.
They can reference this plan, but this plan isn't going to be filed in the registry of deeds, so it's not like
No.
somebody can find it through the registry of deeds if it's referenced on a plan.
No, but, well, we can find it in our files.
We don't have this in our files.
This will be a
This?
Board of Health.
We will.
This one
we
will.
will have.
Yeah, but not this one.
This one we won't have, no.
Right. All right. That's fine. I mean, want to make a motion to that effect?
Yes, along with were there other changes?
A fire lane signs with no parking to
Well,
maintain access.
yeah.
Well, one is that this gets referenced on, okay, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that'll be the second note, and there was another note too.
Parking spaces.
The part, okay. Okay,
I'll second that motion.
okay, so we have 3 notes that we're adding, and
You got those, Kathy?
For the next-
You need them? Okay.
you have that, John?
My question on the filing signage, sure, at each entrance to the rear of the property, you could have, no parking between signs, fire, access road, or whatever.
Yeah.
Would you like that on the plan or just on site?
Yes.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
plan also, signage, so we can draw that, John, and get rid of those parking spots.
You know,
Right.
But yeah, we have a comment on that, that's easy.
Cool.
yeah, we generally don't inspect it, we just inspect the plans.
Yeah, no, so we'll
That's-
make sure it's on.
We worry about the plan.
Label signage and put 'em up,
Right. I think part of the thing, I don't think John actually represented the owners of the Nature's Remedy when they came in and we told them what they needed to do.
Yeah.
They just came in and we told them what they needed to do and they said, okay, thank you very much, and they left. They got their approval and they left. I don't think they ever told John.
Okay.
Right, because it was
No,
the plan
It's good that
change.
John's here tonight because now he knows. Yeah. Yeah.
Put that in there, instead of that one.
But thank you very much.
When they present that final plan, do they need to get back on the calendar, or should we have them bring the plan? I guess they get it back on the calendar in 2 weeks. Get on our agenda, yeah.
They can come back
Next
in 2
scheduled meeting,
weeks.
so we can sign the plan. Make it official.
What?
Our next scheduled meeting, so we can sign the
Yeah,
plan.
yeah.
Okay,
You want
so
to come
by-
back in 2 weeks?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And
With those
should we
changes.
submit in advance the 3
It's
changes?
easier for her. I think, what do you like, 5 days? If it's possible to be 5 days.
Okay, so we submit the updated with the 3 adjustments to you within 5 days, and then you would put us on the agenda and we would come back.
I'll put you on the agenda.
Yeah, he'll be on the
Okay, I
agenda
just-
tonight, so we'll know.
Just
And if
wanna
he's
make
late,
sure.
it's not
Yeah,
a
we're
huge
all
thing.
set.
Like,
Okay.
if he's late, it's just, she has a lot.
Okay.
Is
that it?
Thank you. Easy.
Yes.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Now, do you want this back?
Yeah, maybe,
Yeah.
Do you want this?
because we first,
You folded, really, the septic
Have to be
plan?
submitted. Five? I don't know. You said 10. You said the zoning board needed 14. Okay, so that's why there's 14 of these here. I didn't
No, because
know.
originally, when it first comes in, it goes to departments for review, but whereas this just is getting amended, it's just for them to
So,
sign.
we technically have a motion, you got the vote, or is that just ask them to come back and make the motion and vote after the next scheduled meeting?
Oh, I think did we take a vote or no?
we didn't take a
It
vote.
was sort of a quasi-motion.
It was a motion.
Stated.
All in
It was a
favor?
motion of what you wanted on the plan, but you didn't say if you were approving it or.
Yeah, we weren't clear.
No, we asked them what we wanted.
We'll approve it, we'll take a vote when they come back with the revised plan, don't you think?
I think it's best just to
Yeah.
plan it, motion it that.
Yeah,
Just to make sure nothing else is shifted
It's
around.
cleaner that way.
yeah. It's cleaner that way, she says, we like that.
Yep.
Okay. 43 Main Street.
Next is an A&R plan to meet with David Madigan from Madigan Land Surveying regarding 43 Main Street.
Good evening, everybody. For the record, my name's David Madigan from Madigan Land Surveying. Can everybody kind of see this? Well, I can stand up.
He's got a special microphone for you.
So what we have here is a Form A plan. Basically what we're doing is just kind of reconfiguring 3 separate lots. One of them actually is a parcel because it's this one here doesn't have enough frontage to be a lot, so we called it a parcel. We're just adding this little 4C parcel onto it, so it creates this big pink parcel. Then lot 7A, which does have the legal frontage area, we just kind of added parcel 5A onto it to create that one. The final lot, which we're creating, is lot 5A, and that basically is this yellow shape. It incorporates parcel 7C and parcel 7B, which came off parcel 7A. The numbers all relate back to some of the original plans that were done out there for the hospital property. So, you know, normally we would just go 1, 2, 3, but we're trying to keep it somewhat straight, so when title searches and things are done at the registry, they can refer back to the old plans that we're referring to, and it makes sense. So just kind of to recap, 5A and 7A are 2 brand new lots. They both have legal street frontage. They both have the sufficient area. We've made all these lots to be over 3 acres. Excuse me, except for 5A. 5A is the 70,000. 7A is over 3 acres, and 6D is over 3 acres. And once again, 6D, because it doesn't have the frontage at this time, is a non-buildable lot, and that is also referenced up there.
Can you tell us, will these lots be developed for residential use? Is that what you're thinking?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, if I was to take a guess, residential, probably not, because it's a great commercial area.
Right.
And assuming, you know, as you know, the lot right here is the funeral home lot. I don't know who is even gonna be getting these lots or what they're gonna be doing. Currently, there is a house on 5A, as you can see there, and it meets, we've created the lot line so it meets the offsets. And that house is for sale, as many of you know.
So for business use, do we have enough room on these lots for business use to be applied?
Yes, on 6D and 7A, just like some of the previous lots that were created, this is in the mixed-use development zone. So those, if they're over 3 acres, those both are. This one, probably to go back to your point, is only 70,000. So at this point, it's considered, would be a residential.
Unless they bought them together and did something together.
Yeah, and this might not be the last time we see this plan or these lot lines.
Yeah.
Any other questions or concerns? Sure.
I think in are you more familiar than I am with the bylaw? I haven't read it in a long time. Any acreage, any parcel under a certain acreage that's in the mixed use zone?
Three acres is the mixed use minimum limit.
I don't know, we've never used that zone yet.
Well, we did on, if you guys remember, and you can see it better in the...
Not the mixed use part. We've used parts of this property, but it's always been residential.
Lots 1 and 2, I believe, both were over the 3 acre lots, because those are going to be commercial lots. And we particularly created them for that reason. And so, in this case, the pink lot and the green lot are both over the 3 acres. So if they want to go that mixed use, they can, but right now, 5A is the minimum 70,000.
You see,
But
this is just for subdividing property.
yeah, changing some lot
Yeah.
lines.
We have no reason to, I mean, it's like an A&R. All right, approval not, right. I'm concerned that because it's the hospital property
Right.
and it's the overlay district, the overlay district having to do with anything under a certain acreage reverts to the underlying zoning. And at some point here, there's a residential zone line.
But the underlying zone, you're absolutely right, is the 70,000. So the mixed use is 3 acres. So anything above the 3 acres could go the mixed use route. And then anything below that would have to, as long as it has 70,000, would be a residential.
Okay.
But
That's madness. The whole lot should be zoned the same. It should be. It's one big lot. It's one big parcel.
What's that?
That parcel,
But-
that 70,000, shouldn't be used for residential.
But
I'm
it
just
is.
saying.
But that's the way it is.
We got what we
I
got.
understand. I just don't
That's-
like it. The whole overlay district should apply to the whole thing, but it doesn't.
We want them to have certain size lots. We don't want the,
Oh, I agree. But I'm just surprised to find out that we can have an overlay district, which I thought controlled that entire district, only to find out that if it's actually under 70,
it
it doesn't
does
apply.
under certain specifications.
There you go. That's what I think
Yeah,
is madness.
in absolutely all cases, if there's an overlay district, there's also an underlying district, which is always in effect. It's not an overlay district if you change this, if you take that away, then you've just changed the zoning.
Okay,
What you
so,
wanted to do is,
yeah,
and a lot of, and there were a lot of politics for that.
Yes.
But no, this was done as an overlay district where the owner of the property has the alternative of using either zoning.
okay.
Yeah. Either increase the
for-
size
In
of the
fact, it's
lot,
not our choice.
you increase the
Understood.
size of the lot and use a mixed use, or you use smaller lots and
Yeah.
it reverts to the underlying district.
And that's why they separated it as an
It is what
overlay.
it is, can't change it now. Yeah,
Well, no, this is going to be
Down to the
changed a
vote.
lot.
This was probably 10 years ago.
I bet anything this is going to be changed a
No,
lot.
it's much
so-
longer than 10 years ago.
when we put the overlay district in?
Yes,
Was it 10 years
Oh
ago?
my God, maybe it's 20 years, but it just can't be that long.
yes, it is. You,
So
it's you.
All right, anyway.
It's- No, it's like 2005.
I'd be willing to listen to a
I
motion.
move we endorse the plan.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
thank you very much.
What's that? You don't like it?
I don't.
You don't like what?
I don't like the law we made 15 years ago.
The what?
The ruling, the decision we made 15 years ago.
I don't
Problem.
like that it took that long for it to come back up. I mean, you make, you know, you,
Okay.
Can we do
ZBAs.
sign later on?
Yeah.
Next on the agenda is to review the zoning board of appeals petition for Chapin for Pilgrim Road.
I'm going to make a motion that we forward this on without a comment. As we typically do.
Can I ask where it is?
Have you asked where it is?
Oh, I did.
You did?
I did.
It's, I believe that's called Treasure Shores.
Okay.
Or, there's a bog right off County Road.
Yep.
It's to the left of the bog.
Yep.
And then, and
Yep.
that section of houses there.
Yep.
Looks like it's not on the water, it's several streets back from.
Yep. It was just, the writing on it said it had existing footprint to remain the same.
Looks like they're adding, taking.
And
the
they're
roof
adding
off,
300 square feet of living space.
Going up, taking the roof off it. What I got out of the application.
Okay.
On the first page of the zoning board of appeals petition, the brief to the board, roof of the existing structure is being replaced with a new roof, allows additional living square footage, so that a dormer or something. Footprint stays the same. So I think no comment is probably not bad.
Yep. I agree.
So did you have an official motion, Barbara?
I did.
A second Barbara's motion.
The motion was to pass to ZBA with no comment.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next on the agenda is to discuss fiscal year '21 budget requests. You had talked about a number for possibly a planner. Mark? Was it you?
I think
Was it Peter? It was Peter. He's not here.
That's right, you thought.
That's right. No, but Peter's not here. And he came up with a number for for possibly a planner.
I think it was 70,000, do you remember?
80.
Was it 80?
80.
90.
Well, I'd like to make the suggestion that,
Sold.
well, the line item could be, I guess, my suggestion would not be necessarily a full-time employee. I don't know, I'd be interested to see if we needed a full-time employee, but I definitely would be interested in having consultant, the consultants serve the function for the first 2 years. Let's see what we need, let's see, try it out, see how it goes. And if then it turns into a full-time position, we morph into it. But without taking on the responsibility of another full-time employee, that we consider using that, because there's a lot going on. And, it's only so much time we have. I mean,
Right, and somebody might bring a fresh set of eyes to it.
yep. And somebody who's working in other towns, I think we talked about that last time too, who's serving other communities, because then they get some knowledge about what's happening in other situations in other places. Like the 40R development that just got approved in Rochester. 208 units.
How many?
208.
200 and what?
8. There's no public transportation in Rochester.
There's no public transportation? No, there isn't.
Can I ask on the second page of this, who wrote training and testing?
It would be me. I'm suggesting that you might want to add that. You said you want a more real-based budget, and I think that's something that would need to be in your budget, especially going forward if in time there is a planner. And I myself, I know Zink, we both go to the conference. I went to like 3 this fall, and I actually paid for them myself. So,
Oh, that's not,
so
you should be submitting those for reimbursement.
They should pay for them.
Absolutely.
yeah, I paid for my own, so.
They should pay
Bring
for
the
them.
receipts in. We should pay for that. That should be part of our, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
She works on our behalf.
Yeah.
We don't
Because
have a planner.
Anything that we do, like, with, as far as conferences and stuff, they should be, at
Absolutely.
least the conference paid for.
And they've done it in the past unless something changed in the office.
Yeah.
But it's always been paid in the past, including mileage.
And I'll tell you something else, I've genuinely appreciated a lot of the materials that you've brought back from the things you've learned, so it's a huge contribution, just of your time and so forth, too. You also should be paid for the time that you're spending.
Yeah, that I was.
Okay. All right.
So, to kind of play off both points with the training and testing, and then to what you guys had said about the effort to sort of put somebody in the planner role, even if it's part-time, and you use the term consultant. What if you put a consulting fee in?
I like that.
That, and I know oftentimes we pass that along to the applicant if we do a peer review, but
That's different. That's
it is, and I'm just trying to put it in there so if you're gonna do it, it's palatable for them to say, to not say no.
Town planner resources, either employee or consultant, depending on what the Board of Selectmen chooses to do. But at least if we had a town planner resource as a line item, and I'd love to see the developers contributing towards some of that, but that's me. I grew up in California.
Oh, they pay for everything, right?
Yeah.
But I think the problem is here, I would like to see a planner to pay attention on what is going on in the town and happening. You're not gonna get a developer coming in to put a development down there to pay somebody to figure out what's going on down here. You know what I mean?
Right,
You know
you can only pass along the costs on their project.
Yeah.
But that's why I said if you had just a consulting line item in there that wasn't necessarily for peer review.
Right.
Right. I just
Peer
don't.
review gets covered by the
Right.
developer.
I just don't want the consulting fee to turn into something else that, I'd like to see, I'd rather see more buckets, smaller buckets, so that the fees aren't being passed in the wrong place. But maybe that's too meticulous.
How much have you spent on training?
And zinc too, because you went also.
I always go. I
So how
go
much
every year.
would you say it costs?
I spent almost 200,
200?
almost 200, yeah.
And was it 200
Yeah,
too?
another
So if
100
we
for me.
said,
I don't do
five, that's what I'm
$5,000
thinking, then we have 5.
in a
You know, I
budget
should
for
do that
training,
one.
you should be reimbursed for that.
Yeah.
Because you're secretary of the board.
Yeah.
But it's not unreasonable to say $1,000 towards training. Because that was an
Absolutely, yeah.
item that you had on that sheet.
And they feed you very well, I'd like to add.
Mark, what if we had consulting planner, consulting other? And that way, do we ever have, the peer reviews aren't our expense, but do we have to wash it through the budget? You get it in, it comes out, it matches up with the same code?
Well, I fear that if you just put in consulting fee, and nobody's there to explain that, when it goes back to the administrator's office for the selectmen, they're gonna look at that and say, what? We already pay for that. Wipe that out, make it a 0. Because they, either, it's like certain boards just don't get a budget, but we get to spend something, and it just gets, it's like we don't get a paper.
It's just a lack of transparency, If the planning board has an expense, such as the training, that expense, that's our expense, that's attributable to the work we do. So if we bring in a consultant, a planner, that's the same kind of thing. We don't have a consultant doing anything else, right? So we could just say consultant planning?
The master plan, committee, we have Serped there, and like last year, we spent $80,000 on it. And that supplied us a great deal of information. I mean, it's due to get printed within weeks now.
Yeah.
But, and that's all work that would have been done by a planner if we had a planner.
Really, you think so?
Absolutely, all
I
of
see
it.
the planner getting so much more bogged down with the details of some of these things. We haven't even started talking about the design
Kathy
review.
does a lot of, I mean, she takes care of everything right now, of the difficult stuff of getting people here, you know, of our clients and us and stuff like that. But where they do the presentation work, like you'll see
Yeah.
from the mess, well, that's a planner does that. You know, I mean,
So I guess you'd have to look at different job
and
descriptions.
you could
and
easily,
see.
like, for instance, if we looked for one, the guy that did all that work would be one of the people that would be applying for the job. That's the sort of person you want.
I just think it's I mean, I'm not saying I'm opposed to it, because obviously we desperately need it. We've known for a long time we desperately need it. But bringing on an employee at $80,000 is probably
Or more, yeah.
$100,000 cost. And, you know, I guess I just wonder, you know, we don't know how much we would be asking them to do quite yet. We just finished the master plan. We have other resources we can go to.
And the other half of their time, and they actually fit into conservation too, but the other half of the time is ZBA. ZBA has
Right.
more intensive problems
probably need it more.
than we do.
Yeah.
Ours are cut and dried. I mean, if you don't follow the rule, you're denied.
Rules and regs and
You
zoning
know,
bylaws.
I mean,
So would you think that if we were to put a line item in for a planner or a resource for a planner, should that be split with ZBA's budget?
absolutely.
Okay.
And
Should it
a
be
lot
split
of
with
times the
anybody else's
planner will
budget?
do a lot of work for conservation.
No,
No.
not conservation. Conservation.
We have
handles
master plan,
themselves.
but they're not a set-aside committee. They're kind of project-based, right? Not an ongoing.
Well, it's kind of
Conservation.
ongoing.
Conservation probably could release a
Conservation
planner.
had their own,
They had a planner? They have a conservation agent.
yeah.
Well,
And they hired who they hired.
Bob's the agent.
Yeah.
right. Okay.
It's part-time, I mean, it's like 20 hours a week or something.
Well, this is a wish list, so we can give it to the Board of Selectmen and see
I'm
what they have
not
to say.
refuting that, I just, you know, I look at it as Kathy's our secretary.
Mm-hmm.
Kathy gets paid. She's also the secretary of the ZBA.
Mm-hmm.
Why doesn't half of her salary show up in our budget?
We should.
It's a smoke and mirrors thing.
That's what's bothersome.
Are you in the pool?
No, I get paid
ZBA?
out of inspectional services.
Huh?
Inspectional services.
Okay. Inspectional Services Zoning Enforcement Official is actually Nate's title. So.
Isn't he building commissioner or something? Whatever,
that
it doesn't
too.
matter. That too. Okay, many hats.
Well,
Yeah,
I get paid out of the Department of Inspectional Services.
yes. And I think ancillary service to the planning board and the zoning board of appeals. So I think that's why. Because you don't get charged off in the zoning board of appeals.
Well, the planner would be mostly going to
See?
build Nate, wouldn't you think?
What?
If we had a planner, Nate would be using him the most.
He would help him
Yeah,
immensely.
so we could split that cost between his department too. We just need to let the Board of Selectmen figure out how they want to divide it up.
Yes, they can
Just
do
make a
whatever they
wish,
want. We just say we
80,000,
want it.
100,000.
You might be able to get it, you might be able to do a part-timer for 60.
You might have a consultant you could do for, well, I guess it depends on how many hours.
I wouldn't want to pay a part-time consultant 30,000 because you're not going to get an awful lot for that. People who apply for the job aren't, you know what I mean? They're not going to jump at the chance to make $30,000, you know?
Yeah.
Well, let's ask, we want one. We know we need something. They know, everybody's just talking about it. So I'm going to make a motion that we put a line item in for $100,000 for, you want to name it, consulting?
Oh, if you're doing that, just put it as town planner.
Town planner? Town planner
You gotta put
for,
in the full budget for it, and if they decide
That's
And
full-time.
can create a
And that's
position
full-time.
that splits between,
Yeah.
because it probably, I mean, conservation does have their own agent. But there are matters, like Bob had to come tonight,
Right.
for an issue he saw on 310 Kenneth Welsh, that if there was a liaison between boards as a town planner, you know, not necessarily the planning board agent, but the town planner, so it would be, like you guys say, from ZBA to the planning board, and be a connecting link to.
Yeah.
He'd be somebody that the Conservation Commission could get in touch with to present something to us.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
You could send them, hey, we have a concern, can you just
So I think the feedback
reach
for
out to Bob?
it's a shared resource. We want to make sure we get that clear. And
I think it's important that we do that. So far, you know, we've done it 6 years in a row. And,
What, ask for it?
what?
Ask for it.
Yeah. And,
You think it's only 6?
and no one,
Jim Merritt.
this is when Jim,
For a long time.
this is when Jim started asking.
Yeah, more than 6
I remember
years.
some.
way more than 6 years.
I'm sure it could have been.
We were asking for
it
it
could have
master
been.
plan in 2002 or
Right.
3.
But
10 years ago.
and they never even got to questioning what sort of person it was. It was dropped out of hand,
It's
and we never even we never even got a call back, as they would say in theater. So it would be nice if, with a new board,
Yeah.
that we see how that works anyway, and see what because a lot of people think that they don't want stuff planned for them, but we don't plan anything. You know, we're
No,
not
we
that-
definitely need more help.
But we have an awful lot of stuff to do,
Yeah, we do. We do. And I'll tell you one thing.
and we're lucky that we haven't made a mistake yet.
Who says
we know
haven't?
about.
What?
Who says we haven't?
Well, that we got caught at publicly.
Yeah, we never really made mistakes. We had mistakes thrust upon us.
Yeah.
So I
So
made
we
a
gonna go
motion.
anywhere with this?
I made a motion, waiting to be seconded, $100,000 for town.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
And don't forget the training part of the budget.
Are you gonna motion that also?
Yeah. Make a motion to include a budget line budget item for training and testing for 1,000? Yep.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, discuss bylaw creation for lot disturbance trigger for site plan review.
Okay.
So I thought something was put forward, because it used to be like 3,000 and nobody looked at that.
Oh, this for the lot disturbance?
Yeah. And then a
Oh,
different
yeah.
amount was proposed, like 30,000.
How'd this get on somebody proposed this on our agenda, or?
I think it was discussed, and then Kathy asked me, so I said, well, why don't you
No,
come
it
up
got
and
voted.
talk about it?
Town meeting voted it. We're at an acre. If you disturb an acre, you need site plan review.
Okay,
That's what town meeting
thanks, town meeting.
voted.
Okay, next on the agenda is to discuss creation of an application for site plan review, and I read through this, and this looks pretty handy dandy. Did you put this together?
I did.
Nice job. Nice job. My only question is at the end here, where it says to be completed by planning board staff. Is that like a description of?
Well, what it is, what we had previously was just the engineer would come in and would go to all these departments.
Yeah.
And they would give them their site plan and they would sign off on it. But
Right.
I was finding that people would get the site plan and it might go on a desk. There was no date on it. Nobody really,
Right.
it got lost a lot. So that's just to show that, you know, same thing as I do for the zoning board is I will deliver it to these boards and just the date that I did it.
That sounds awesome.
So I love the consistency.
And you know, it
It's the same.
sits on their desk not because it gets lost or anything like that, is they just don't feel it's their responsibility.
Yeah, and there's like nothing on it telling them, hey, review this.
Well,
Now, we have don't we have an application for site plan review already?
No,
How about the site plan review we just did?
No,
There was no app with
Nothing.
that?
This is awesome.
nothing.
I
This-
thought,
This is almost like a building permit application.
I thought we had an app for the
There's one for
commercial ones.
A&R, but there's nothing for site plan.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's a
then,
process or something to submit stuff, but it's really not an application,
Right.
right?
No, like I said, it's just the engineer
in that
trotting
case,
around to the departments, which I've been doing because it just didn't seem to make sense
Okay.
with a full-time staff person for
So-
them to be doing that.
we have two different sets of rules for site plan review. One of them is for commercial or business, and one of them is for residential. They're pretty similar, but they are different. I mean, they're two different sections of our bylaw. So up here, underneath application and above name, we should
have two
split it up
separate.
into, is this a business one or a residential one?
Okay, well, actually, this was just gonna be like my part one. For the second part, then I wanna go through the bylaw and see like what they would need to include on the site plan,
Oh, okay.
so.
Well,
This is just like the
motion to
first
move
step.
forward.
Application for residential site plan review, or then separately an application for business.
So you're gonna continue this?
Yeah.
Because
You're gonna
it's along with
move forward
every,
and add more
I mean,
things
it's
to it.
right to have an app.
Make a
an
motion to
application.
have her move forward with this,
Thank you.
okay?
Keep it on the
Second,
agenda.
yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Kathy.
I think
Nice job.
Jinx.
Skipped over number 7.
7.
07. Oh, discuss bylaw creation for design standards for business zoned new construction.
So I asked Kathy to put that on the agenda.
Really?
Yep. We've sort of batted around, talked about it briefly at a couple of meetings.
Yep.
Because the dollar store.
Yeah.
And so Barbara and I are willing to do some legwork and some behind the scenes, maybe research other towns' bylaws,
Yep.
try to figure out how to put something together that, like I thought, what if we just made a bylaw that new construction in the business zone requires a slope roof on the front of the facade?
What?
What?
A sloped roof?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Minimum of a 6 pitch, 6 and 12. On, not on the entire building, on a percentage or something you can see from the street. So you're not choosing a construction material.
Right.
Because you can't do that. But you're just trying to guarantee the character of the town to not become the big box store appearance.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
And my only issue with the current bylaw is it takes 50% lot coverage to even trigger it, to get an improved design standard.
Right.
With the density bonus, the
Right.
2 10% you can get to try and push somebody a little bit harder to get a better looking building. I want to work on something, so I'd like you guys, your input from your experience on what you're willing to work with us on, and we'll do some legwork and come back to maybe the next meeting with more information.
I think that's an awesome, wording is tough
Yeah.
because we've tried that before. 12,
What about the
14 years ago.
creation of a design review board?
Can
Yeah.
I jump
Design
around
review
here
board?
and go back to the budget thing?
Oh, yeah.
For the line items where we have the training and the planner? And can we specifically this year put in a legal budget through town council to help to redraft or to draft some bylaws? And just put it in there?
Draft bylaws?
What we're doing right now. So if we put something together, then we can send it up to town council, and there's something in the budget. At one point, when Rita was the town administrator, she said, if you guys want to come and sit with town council, I have the green light for you
To do that.
to do that, and we'll cover the legal costs. So, there's been a change up there
Yep,
in all facets.
yep.
So, we can always approach individuals bring that up, that, hey, at one point we had that, we think it needs to be done, but let's put something in the budget too. Could we go back to that and just add a line item, make a motion to put a nominal figure in for legal review from town council to create or amend bylaws?
So I'd like to step back from that and make an amendment to your motion, that we have a line item for legal fees, because when we went through a lot of other stuff, and every time we hired we had no idea how much it was costing us. Like the cost that, if we are asking questions of council, it should be attributed back to our board. So whatever we're doing, because it's legal costs, like when we did the marijuana site review,
Yeah.
remember how the attorneys were coming here all the time?
Yeah.
And all I wanted to know is like, how much is this costing us? Because we had no visibility, and then we wanted to ask them to pay some of that. And it was totally invisible to us.
I believe that was, finally, that loop was closed, and I think Leah was
Yeah.
active in that, to finally bill the marijuana establishments, because that was all geared so that the legal costs incurred by the town would be paid by the applicant,
And that went through the
or the selectmen, I think, too.
the owner's agreement.
Yes.
Yes, right. Which is probably.
But
where-
nobody
where
was
it
sending the
should-
bill.
Right. So we
And
didn't
the town
know.
was absorbing it until finally, I think Leah looked at the budget and was like, why are we paying these bills? Or somebody else caught
That's
it.
her job, though.
Yeah, but it,
She's
But it
a
wasn't
hog
getting done
with the
until she
budget.
brought it up.
So do we want to put a number together to say how much we might possibly need?
I don't even think we
Well,
know what we would need.
We don't know that
I think
exactly.
what I would like
We no longer need
is,
one for marijuana permits.
No,
but
but
I'm
for
saying
anybody.
any legal costs that come up, like if we have legal costs, we should be able to see what we're spending.
We should have a
And if
blank
it's for
check.
bylaw review, no, I don't. I mean, we can always adjust a budget, right? You go out and you ask for $2,000 for the year.
That's
and we
fine,
need-
but I guess I would like to have a specific one for the bylaw review and changes. So that they see that, and we don't just say,
Yeah.
can we have a legal
Limited.
budget? And then they say, no.
For what? Right,
You
they
can
might
just
say
keep
that, yeah.
dumping- You can just keep dumping onto that,
Okay,
and it just get rejected.
okay. Well,
Who's running for selectman, number 3?
All I've been told is Rita and Richard are running.
Rita and Rich.
and Rick,
Rita pulled her paper.
and Brian Day's moving.
Brian Day,
Brian Day too.
and who else? Oh, Richard's running for the 3-year.
Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna be here a while.
Okay,
Well, that
so
was, we were,
I'll second your motion to add the language about having a,
Request a
legal fee
budget
for the
to
bylaw.
amend Or add bylaws.
Okay.
to
for
the-
bylaw.
So are we all set with the design?
So you said it's great, we're asking for legal budget, we need a vote on that, just to put that line item in the budget.
Right, but before that, we were talking about design. didn't we?
Right.
So we asked for your input, you said it was tough to get the language right.
It is.
And that's why I went right back to, let's get some legal budget.
But here's
So-
the th-
so
and
we can-
I'd like to argue against it, so.
Against what?
When, the very last part of the last idea.
Oh, asking for
Of the
legal
yeah,
help for the design budget, the
of
design?
the design budget, yeah.
Why?
Why?
I'd like to refer to 40A, Section 3. Our governing, what governs our actions, in all cases. Section 3 of 40A, no zoning ordinance or bylaw shall regulate or restrict the use of materials or methods of construction of structures regulated by the state building code, nor shall any ordinance or bylaw prohibit, unreasonably regulate, or require a special permit for use of land for primary.
There's your legal help right there. You can't do it.
There's the legal help. Now,
Huh?
what you can do,
no, we got a package
No, I
Kathy
know what
provided
you're
to
saying.
us.
what you can do
That's why,
is you can make various quid pro quos out of it, where if they are
No, you
furnishing.
can't, because it's in here too, that you can't make a bylaw that's not clear and concise for the landowner to come in here and say, this is what I'm supposed to do. and they know when they put their application in, we're supposed to create bylaws so
Well,
they
that's what he's,
understand.
that's what he's saying.
not a
He's
law.
saying, what Jim Merritt was trying to do a long time ago was if you're gonna get a density bonus or a leniency increase, you are allowed more of a leniency increase if you do certain things, modifications to your structure.
Right. I mean, for instance, if you owned the property, or if the town had some interest in the property, or if the town somewhere along the way directed this property to be used by this developer and stuff like that, if you had some hand in it, that you can get, that you can have a say in what gets built, well, then you're allowed to do these various things. And when you see these beautiful developments like Plymouth, or in Wareham, down Makepeace and stuff like that, well, the reason they can do that is because Makepeace owned the whole thing, and he made a deal with the town in order to be able to do various sorts of things with sewage and do various sorts of things with electricity and roads. They make a deal in order to keep the architecture look very good, and they spend a little bit extra money on that. But you have to have some other way into it. You can't just have a rule that says
We're restricting.
you have to do
shape.
something.
So then Kathy handed us out this handout.
Deny a plan though.
So
The poor
this,
guy doesn't have the budget.
this workshop,
And
she
you
took
can't
in.
deny a plan because someone doesn't want to build it the way you want it to look.
Right.
We need a design review board. We need a design review process. We do have the rights to do certain things, to maintain community character, we have rights. I'm not saying, I don't think you can go out and tell them that you have to have white picket fences in front of everything. I think there's a line between what property owners need to have their rights.
And
But
the important part of that is,
yes,
the most important part of that is that you can have almost anything you want, as long as you never use a word like character, because the character would have to be determined by a board of somebody or another, or you.
Right.
And they don't want anything to be determined by humans. As long as you determine it ahead of time and write it down clearly ahead of time, if that's what you're referring to, Mark, if it's written clearly in the plan that you have to have a 6-pitch roof everywhere on this street, and the town votes for it, I think you can get away with that.
Yeah, you can.
But you can't have a 6-pitch or equal, or 6-pitch or, and you have to be very specific where anybody can understand it, like Mark said. But people don't vote for stuff like that. They're not gonna.
It's a bigger
they're not gonna
process.
buy it.
We're not talking about everybody's house in town. We're only talking about business properties. In business
And
zone.
on what street?
We could say on Main Street, we could say on 18, there's gonna be a lot of
Business.
Could
development.
say in business zoned areas.
business-owned area, which I think
I'm not trying to make this broad sweeping thing so everybody needs to change their construction methods throughout the town. I'm only saying in business properties, things that are retail, things that are.
Right. So my suggestion is before our next meeting, we go back and review the CPTC guidebook, the use of design review was really insightful. I went back and reread it again today. And, this is a bigger process, right? And also the thing about design and consistency is it's intergenerational, right? So what you guys are doing, you guys have contributed 20 years, that needs to be carried on. That means it needs to be written down in the rule book to some level, right, in the bylaw. But you can't, there's certain things that you can't do. You can't say, you have to use gray shingles. I don't
Right.
think you can say that.
No.
But you can say, we want it to have, certain characteristics. So if we read this
They sort of
again.
have to be clear. I'm trying to find what I read earlier. Because it can't say, I'll find it.
It can't leave discretion to a board
It
to
can't
decide.
leave discretion to a board,
Yeah.
correct. But the board also has to have some very clear purpose, because if they can't have a political, they have to appear to be very non-political, they have to be non-political. So, my suggestion is we probably read this and come back and talk about it again, but if we were to have a design review board, whether it's just this committee or whether it's people from ZBA and conservation comprising a whole nother group.
CPTC? I can find that online, right?
Yep. I don't know. This was at a workshop.
Possibly. It's a new one, so it might not be
I
online
can
yet.
email it to you, and then you can email it out to everybody. I'll scan it tomorrow.
Okay, yeah,
You
I
have it?
probably still have that, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was really good. Because all the things I think, I agree with everything Mark said.
I
I think it's just, we're gonna have to.
agree with pretty streets, and I
course
agree
you
with
do.
all that, but it's subjects which zoning may not regulate. I mean,
That's not zoning, though.
yes, it is. If it's.
Design review, well, why are they the case law in this article, and the people are doing it. They're doing it.
Okay, so it won't be in zoning.
It's not part of
Then-
zoning.
Then what do you have to enforce it with?
I would probably have to
Because,
be part of
I
your
mean-
bylaw to say if you're going, when you go
Well,
through planning board.
Those bylaws are called zoning bylaws.
Yeah, the zoning bylaw, that's what we're in charge of
Yep.
amendments to the zoning bylaw. And
And rules and regulations of the planning board, subdivision control law.
two
I'm
separate.
telling you, they're doing it, they explain it right here.
Well,
So
they-
we'll go read it next time we'll come back and we'll be able to talk through it.
In
But-
what towns?
They don't go through with different towns, but these are case laws that they go through. This was a workshop given just this last October by CPTC. So
What's CPTC?
Community Preservation Trust Council or something like that.
Citizens.
Citizens Planner
Planners.
Training, something.
There,
Is that nationwide?
No, it's Massachusetts.
So you can't have things,
you're absolutely,
attractiveness of street layout in order to obtain maximum livability and amenity of the subdivision to show due regard for natural features such as large trees. You can't make it subjective to be beautiful. That, things like that get shot down, they lose in court. It has to be very specific if you're gonna do it.
Right.
So,
now,
I think-
there's a couple of 50-acre lots, at least 50-acre lots, that are, plus 4 golf courses,
Yep.
left here in Lakeville that easily can be developed into something or another. And by simply, we could simply use an overlay district, and part of the overlay district or something like that, if we owned it at some point, or if we had a strong interest in it at some point, you could attach whatever conditions you wanted to that particular development, and
Which I
then
think-
sell it to a developer and have the developer build.
What you wanted.
Yeah.
Which is what I think we
And
should
then
do.
it would look like,
But that's not
there's some
total property.
big developments in Mashpee and some big developments in Plymouth that are just gorgeous. But they were, someone had control of the property
Property.
to do that. And it was, and they had big enough questions. I mean, it was, they had to build roads to get to their roads. They were that big. So you can do it.
So
But-
Barbara and I would like to make an effort to do something along those lines, and we'd like to be on the agenda for the next meeting. That's all right. If it doesn't work, shoot us down. If it,
Yeah.
yeah, we just want to
No,
be
yeah,
negligent on it.
yeah, I don't know when did we try it, 15 years ago?
But there wasn't a dollar store going up then. So people were like, oh,
Right,
why do we need that? But now I think they're like,
And now it's
Right.
completely different. Before, 15 years ago, people were still trying to slow down development in Lakeville. That's not really the case anymore,
Right.
and it's not going to be the case going ahead. We're going to be looking for stuff to do.
right.
We want to build.
And the thing we tried 15 years ago was if people wanted to build larger than they were able to, and put lot coverage greater than what was allowable,
Yeah.
we would allow them to increase the density of the
Right.
use of the property by modifying the
Right.
design of the building. And that got shot down.
That got shot down?
Yeah, that's why we're not doing it.
Wow, okay,
I mean, we tried.
right, huh. We need to dig further,
It's not, I wasn't just,
No, obviously, but,
poo-pooing your thoughts. I was just, we tried that before.
well, it's, am I wrong? Is this
There's
not,
stuff I
this
don't
is
know about
Citizens Planner, is
guaranteeing open
Massachusetts.
space.
Yeah, you could
I mean, if
try
they're-
it.
yeah, I mean-
I'm sure they
I'd
do it
ask
in
you.
Dover. I know they do it.
Something, they're doing it in other communities.
They're so
Yeah.
tough to
But
guarantee,
And it is probably a
Dover is not
district.
Lakeville, and Lakeville is not Dover.
according to the people that I've ever asked.
People think it is.
You can
It
get
is
something
not.
for 30 years easily.
We'll see when the next $1 million house sells.
Well, yeah, but
It
they're
is.
selling for 20 million in Dover.
Oh, they're not. All right, I'll have to go look that one up. All right, what else do we have on the agenda? Site plan review, we got through that one. Mark, I think we have
We're
their
working on a
support, we'll have
5-lot
lunch next week.
subdivision in Brookline.
Something like that, talk at least during lunch.
Each one of the units is $3 million. It's about 35,000 square feet, each one.
Where's this?
Brookline. I'm sure you worked there.
Wait till Brian gets back.
Awkward silence. The chair just walked out. Yeah, you can vote to take a break. And I guess by the time we do that, we'll have to turn the cameras back on.
So do you want to add that legal item or not?
Yeah.
Yep.
But for bylaw review.
Okay, because you didn't give an amount or,
Attorneys are expensive, but $5,000?
Yeah, put that down.
What's that little thing?
The on air?
That white thing?
Yeah.
It reads better this way.
Oh,
So it's supposed to go on the back wall, so everybody knows that we're recording.
got it. Thank you. Sorry.
Not it.
It is now.
Like that?
Is your back?
Okay, so, yeah, I agree that you guys should try to dig into something.
Okay, we will.
Thanks.
Do we have any minutes to do, or not this time? Good.
You guys want a quick, I only have a couple things from Serpide I was going to bring up. Went last night. The first thing I just wanted to mention was that development going in Rochester, which we talked about later. The other thing is the Massachusetts Department of Fish and Game, the Division of Ecological Restoration, is doing a project for the Assawamsett Pond Complex for floodwater management. So I was really happy to hear about that because I worry about that. Remember when all those houses flooded? And then all the way back over to the road and stuff, a lot of people displaced by that. So I'm really excited that they're working on that, an updated plan. And the other thing I was interested to find out is that the town of Lakeville, and they never tell us all the stuff they're doing. They do such great work over there. But they're going to have an ADA transition plan. So they're going to be taking a look at our community and finding out the ways that maybe we could become more ADA compliant, because we're not in many respects. So we're going to be using some of our planning resources to do that. I wasn't involved in it, but I thought it was really cool, a good idea. We have an aging population. People need to be able to get into the clerk's office and stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, I think they go up and they hit a buzzer and the clerk comes down to see them.
Maybe that's what happens.
That is what happens.
There you go.
No?
No, the clerk's in the lower part of the town hall now, so they just go this.
Well, the
they're
idea is
accessible.
just to have the municipality have some, compliance, which we're not.
Right,
So
they'll
They'll be
work on
proposing.
that.
So yeah, there's no access to the administrative area.
Right,
And that's that.
awesome. I remember when they did install that buzzer so she could come down and see it.
So we have a public hearing next time? We have a public hearing?
Yes.
For,
It is for the marijuana overlay district and the temporary license.
what the heck was that?
I don't know.
Someone's phone's talking to them.
The temporary license?
What?
The temporary license had something to do with their trailers,
Yeah, but
and they were allowed, in case, if there had been a fire, they're allowed to put a trailer on that property. And something got misprinted, and this is just one of those repairs of a type. It's a typo repair, actually.
So we gotta present it again at town meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everything got waived before.
Yeah.
Even at the, at the town hall. And they were hoping that, starting with this new outfit for rewriting the bylaw, there's someone already working on rewriting, on repaginating and reordering that there'd be less of that, because we've gone through, we've done a redo.
Codification?
Yeah.
Is that what they're talking
Yeah.
about?
Oh, no, that's what I was just talking about now. But on this, we've had a redo. We've had to redo at every town meeting for, I think, the past 4 of something, because there was a mistake on the one before. So that's not right. We at least ought to fix that. And they were all typos.
so we have that going, and then we have the marijuana overlay district.
Marijuana overlay district.
Which will be the bigger conversation.
I don't think it'll be any. There was, no one showed up for the last time
Yeah.
either. Or if maybe there were 2 people.
Since you had you're right, because you did the map. You and Lorraine worked on that map.
Yeah.
It was so great.
Yeah.
And you're right, nobody did show up. We had just a handful of people.
Yeah.
Okay, well, cool.
So, and that would cover us for, 6 months hence. So no matter what they do, they'll, now, they changed it to May, and now they changed it back to June, the town meeting. But apparently it's June 2nd? Or the,
I think I'm going to be on vacation again. Okay.
What's that?
I think I'm going to be on vacation. I was on vacation last year. Okay, anyway.
So our next meeting is February 13th.
Yep. Motion to adjourn?
If there's no other business, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.